quite amazing. We have this amazing knowledge, and so we have to really get a handle on it and really share it with people. Everyone out there is really thirsty for this knowledge, and so we have to quench. We have to give them some water. You know, when you see a friend or a brother and sister that's really thirsty, needs just a drop, needs some water, you have to. It's an emergency. We have to take it like that. It's really an emergency that we share this knowledge, right? Because we don't know what tomorrow may bring. Shishi Gornatai Ki Jai. We don't know what tomorrow may bring. Human life on average 100 years, but as we know, anything can happen. And it's said that one who chants the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, before that moment of death, they can attain his eternal abode. And so since we don't know when that time will come, we have to take it as every day is our chance to chant. Every day is our chance to get back in the routine. Every day is our chance to connect with Krishna again. So that's every day. And because this material, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, this material world is endlessly mutable. Endlessly mutable. It's always changing. It's changing day after day after day. We can't get a handle on it. Things are changing so fast. So that's just part of the system. The material nature is always changing. So what doesn't have to change is our relationship with Krishna. What never will change is that we are Krishna's children, and that we are here as kind of a universal obstacle course of some sort. It's a chance to make some spiritual progress. And this whole thing is set up just for our spiritual progress. So we can't take it lightly. And this whole thing is for that. And so even if you leave the body, you get the progress that you left off at. So when you make a little spiritual progress, does that go away if you leave the body or something? No. It's like a spiritual bank account that it never goes down. You keep adding to it. So we kind of want to be a little greedy about adding to our spiritual bank account in a nice way, in a non-competitive, fun way that really isn't about just knowledge acquisition, but is like proper knowledge acquisition. And it's really with the love. It's all because of the love. It's not for anything purely intellectual. No, because bhakti yoga, it's all about love. It's all about the heart, right? So it is fun to learn more and more, but it's all through this filter. It's all through the heart. It's all because of love of Krishna. And it's really beautiful. One second. Because like these everyone gets their field of activities, and it's like um imagine a child in a backyard. They're like free to play within this fenced in area, and they may think they've got the whole world at their fingertips, but really they're kind of being sheltered in. They've got this fence there. And so the kshetra is kind of like that. What was the movie that had a lot of stuff about the field of activities? Bag Bag of Vance, Bhagavan the Tales of Bhagavan Vance or something, but it's really, what is it? Something like that. Will Smith is in it, but it's actually it's a tale of it's a telling of the Bhagavad Gita and certain aspects of the Gita. Not that it's necessarily recommended to watch that movie, but they tried to tie in the legend of Bagger Vance. They tried to tie in, Bagger Vance, Bhagavan. They tried to tie in spiritual knowledge and the knowledge of the field. And one has to kind of maintain the field, make sure it's ripe for spiritual growth, and knowing the difference between Krishna and the living entity. What are those differences? He's Sachid Ananda Vigraha. He's and full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, full of six opulences: wealth, power, fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. And he he can show the universal form. He can open up his mouth and basically show the whole universe to his mother. So how can we serve someone that has so much opulence, you know? So, but the thing is, that's we can try to serve, we can try to humble ourselves and serve, and he will reveal himself to us over time. And so a little service, you know, if you offer with devotion a fruit, flower, leaf, or water, I will accept it. So if you offer something to him with devotion, intention, because he says in this purport, it's a little different than intention, but the living symptoms represented by consciousness and conviction are the manifestation of the subtle body. So it's consciousness and also conviction, because he can tell our intentions. If we're, you know, slapping someone on the back because we're trying to help them get some food dislodged, or if we're slapping on the back out of anger or something. So he knows not only our actions but our intentions. He's watching everything, he sees everything, and he wants you to come back home, back to Godhead. And there's these five. We're also talking of the koshas, or the five sheaths, the five coverings, right? Anamaya, when just kind of a living entity, is just kind of obsessed with food and kind of sees God through food and doesn't really know, doesn't care. It's a lower level of consciousness, Anamaya, where one its entity doesn't even distinguish between living and dead matter. It's just like eating. And then Pranamaya, and then Vijnana, then Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, and then Ananda Maya. And these are all different stages, where gradually one knows more and more about Krishna, knows more and more about the difference and the relationship between the body and then the soul to the super soul, and also gets more and more absorbed in a bliss state. Um, um, Here in a purport to 5 at the end, he says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is by nature full of joy, and to enjoy his transcendental bliss, he expands into Vijnanamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, and Anamaya. In this field of activities, the living entity is considered to be the enjoyer, and different from him is the Anandamaya. That means that if the living entity decides to enjoy in dovetailing himself with the Anandamaya, then he becomes perfect. This is the real picture of the Supreme Lord as supreme knower of the field, the living entity as subordinate knower, and the nature of the field of activities. So the backyard is an example of a small field, or even a sandbox. How you can have so much fun in a sandbox, and you can get messy as you want inside the sandbox, but it's kind of contained. And you know, different the living entities have different fields of activities. For instance, humans, we can access the internet, and we can, at least right now, we can access the internet, and we can spend so much time researching that way. Or, you know, it's just something that not every living entity has that in their field of activity. A dog or an earthworm, for instance. I mean, we people start out fairly innocent, you know. Obviously, we're dealing with reincarnation, where the soul gets put into another body at the time of death, and we're dealing with karma, where the karma is determining the body that one gets. One's karma is actually determining one's next body. And I was just going to say that people start out, you know, usually fairly innocent. We behave based on our best knowledge, you know. We don't eat fish, meat, or eggs here, and pure vegetarian. We offer all of our foodstuffs to Krishna. But I happened to see a video recently of how bewildered a young child was when it was asking its mother. It said, "Wait, you have to," like 4 years old, "you have to kill the chicken to eat the chicken." It was amazed because, you know, this child had been probably eating chicken most of its life, but then to find out, wait, to eat chicken, you have to kill the chicken. And it was bewildered. And it was really sweet and innocent and powerful, just to show how most of us were kind of led into to eating the meat. Um, and so the child said, what about in the backyard? We have our chickens and we have to kill them. And, the mom was like, no, we just have those for the eggs. But she was like, yeah, if you want to eat, chicken, you have to kill the chicken. And the child was like, no, you shouldn't kill the chicken. You shouldn't kill the. It was a really nice video. And we behave, we association is so important, who we associate with. And if associating with Vaishnavas or people who are seeking out higher Krishna consciousness, that is the best association. And we can grow just by that association. We can grow. Growth is not always obvious, and it's not always immediate, not always painless, but we grow through time, through placing ourselves in proper positions and not wasting our time. We're guaranteed to grow. And so it's like, and whether pure or impure, one who, Om Apabrita Pravitra Va Sarvashtam Gato Piva Yasmret Pundari Kaksham Sababim Tarasuchi, whether pure or impure, or having passed through all the material conditions of life, one who remembers lotus-eyed Krishna becomes externally and internally pure. Let's do maybe a quick Jeopardy if we have time, if we could try this out. So the way this is going to work was I could now I'll read the answer, and then if you think you know the question, maybe you could just say Hare Krishna. Okay, this word has to do with how the Supreme Lord's senses are not so covered. His senses are transcendental and are therefore called this. The Supreme Lord's senses are not so covered. His senses are transcendental and are therefore called this. Hare Krishna. Okay. Maybe we'll do the next one. This means that one should be very determined to make progress in spiritual life. Okay, sure. Just have to answer it in the form of a question. That's really important. So, yeah. So you have to say, what is. You want me to go back to the last one? All right. Keep going. Okay. Okay. There are two kinds of this: external and internal. There are two kinds of this: external and internal. Okay. Hare Krishna? Yes. Okay. Okay. That does apply too, but this particular, some of these may have multiple questions. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Now, let me try another one. This further represents the unmanifested stage of the three modes of material nature. And we heard this word. Okay, next. Does anyone else have a? Yes, I heard it. Pradana. Yes. So what is pradana? The unmanifested stage of the three modes of material nature. Okay, this word means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Yes, Rishi Kumar Prabhu. Jai, Hare Krishna. Got it. And then I had one more fun thing I was going to try. You know how there's 700 verses of the Gita? Well, I numbered them all, and we can maybe do a random number generator just to see if what we get, just another verse just for fun. See if it applies somehow. Okay, verse 86. got it. Okay. He's gonna say what it is too. That's really good. I was just gonna read. Okay, this translation. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So, in this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So Krishna's devotees don't have to live in fear. There's no fear in Krishna consciousness. He's protecting his devotees, and everything, sometimes something that's perceived as maybe bad, or these distinctions of good and bad, they're kind of material, they're kind of upadis, just like saying, I'm American or I'm a male. That's like an upadi. But these distinctions, where was I going with that? These sorry. Yeah, devotees don't have to live in fear. And whether any of these distinctions, whatever happens to me, it may seem bad, but it's Krishna's plan. So everything that's happening is actually Krishna's beautiful plan. So it's like a prayer. It could just be, Krishna, I want to be a part of your plan, and I don't want to go against it. Let me flow with your plan and not try to constantly fight your plan. And even when it seems like bad things are happening for to me, or to someone else I know, you don't know what doors Krishna is opening up down the road. So Krishna's got some beautiful surprises for his devotees, and he's got plans for you. And so you just have to trust his plan. And the Bhagavad Gita says over and over, he says, act, just Arjuna, just fight. So he wants us to act in Krishna consciousness and leave the results to him. He is the cause of all causes. So we can act and we leave the results to him. We're not going to try to do his job. Obviously, we can't. And so we just do act in our best Krishna consciousness, and then we leave it up to Krishna. And then that's kind of a letting go. Oh, Krishna, okay, I did that. I did what you asked me to do today, and I'm not going to like go over and over again, over and over again. I'm going to just kind of let it go. Let it go. I'm going to speak in a way that is true to me, and I'm not going to go back and feel like I need to correct myself, or just all this going back and just wanting people, just trying to make it smooth for everyone, and trying to help people get a little closer to Krishna consciousness. How many people have we invited to the temple for this coming Sunday festival? How many times did we try to go out and distribute a book this week? How many times did we sing a kirtan? How many times did we go to arti? It's not just the numbers, but we know that if we can just make progress, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but if we can just stair step, baby steps is okay. Just keep making steps towards Krishna consciousness, never back, because when a train is moving, it's pretty easy for the train to keep moving on the tracks. But when a train is completely stopped, it's so heavy, and it takes a lot of energy to get the train going. And Krishna is the supplier of all energy. If any energy we have to thank him for that energy. Read just a little bit of text 8 through 12. Humility, pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness and self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and the rest, and even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, resorting to solitary places, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to these is ignorance. So Krishna is giving us the secrets. He's spelling it all out for us in ways that no other book does. Even one verse, let's pick up the Gita and at least read one verse. You can open to a random page and read one verse a day, one purport. That's a really good start, and it will actually help your day. And he says in here in the text, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and the rest. So that doesn't mean one doesn't love one's family members or children. It just means that uh, if they aren't conducive to Krishna consciousness, we can't give be so attached to them. We have to be attached to Krishna and attached to everything and everyone that's helping us get closer to Krishna. So a family in Krishna consciousness is a very beautiful thing. But if we have some people in our lives that are going against Krishna, how can we remain attached to them? We have to, at a certain point, we have to become more attached to remembering Krishna and chanting his holy names, and we have to become a little unattached to some of those things that we used to do that weren't so nice. You know, we used to do so many things, and we're still trying to purify the heart. We're still trying to purify the heart and the consciousness. Chanting the names does that. Chanting the Maha Mantra, it's called the Great Mantra. So it's this magical, supremely powerful grouping of words that actually take the chanter on a journey. They actually elevate the chanter. And so day after day, you'll see a lot of growth through the chanting, and chant for Krishna, chant his names, and just try to please him when you're cooking. Just cook for him, and and he will guide you, and start to learn what he really likes to eat, and then we take those remnants. So it's a beautiful process. Thank you all for tolerating me. And was there any topics for discussion, question or comment from anyone today? Hare Krishna, Radha Damodar, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We really liked the Jeopardy. That was good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Next time I'm gonna do it up here with a bit, do a official
That'd be great.
full board and everything.
Hi. I was wondering, you said that this conception of good and evil is an upadi. You know, it's like arising from mental conditioning. So I was wondering, what is there a is there what? So what's the proper conception of good and evil for the Vaishnava?
It's either Krishna's ordained, it's ordained by Krishna. I would say it's either ordained by Krishna or it's not, you know. It's either, if something is moving us towards Krishna, then it is inherently good, even if it may not seem good at the time. But if it's moving us towards Krishna, it's inherently good, and it would be called Yoga Maya. And if it's moving us away from Krishna, even if it seems good at the time, then it's inherently bad. And then it would be called Maha Maya. It would be called being under Maha Maya. And does anyone have any further comments on that, or follow up maybe on that? It's not always so easy, especially, you know, we're in the heat of the moment. We have to make fast decisions, and Krishna's empowering you to do that. And so the more we just kind of close our eyes, or just, it can be even a small decision, but practice decision making with Krishna in mind. It can maybe even be at the grocery store. Which one would Krishna, which tomato would Krishna want? Which one could I try to offer to him? Which one is deserving of him? You know, the way the flowers grow, the flower, the sometimes the highest flower, it's begging to be picked for Krishna. It's saying, please utilize me in Krishna's service, and, you know, make me into a garland someday. And and so which one? So use that decision making process even on a small level, and it will be easier on a bigger level when it comes time to make a really fast decision, or when it's a really big life decision. But I would say start on the smaller things, and just keep Krishna in mind. What can I get for my Lord Krishna? He's your Lord, and you are his, and he is yours. So what can I get for my most beloved? And it's like that. It's like that sometimes. So, all right. Well, this has been so nice. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Chaitanya Nityananda